Palacios hardware store. Another delay in the murder trial of Fernando Acosta Jr. in Matagorda County. And 2 suspects are arrested after a state investigation into a Bay City nursing home.
We're looking at the cooler weather coming into the Panhandle. This is the cold front that's going to be here tomorrow, but it's causing 50-mile-an-hour winds up there and spreading the fire around. Hopefully we won't have that problem when it gets here. We'll be talking about your weather coming up.
And it was East versus West soccer day, but we had 2 teams left in the postseason on the hardwood. Now we're left with 1. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia is off tonight. A 28-year-old Victoria man was taken into custody by Victoria County deputies. Damon Davila was arrested on a bond forfeiture on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $50,000 bond. A 53-year-old Laredo man is in custody in Victoria County. Cesar Maldonado was sentenced to 2 years in state prison for human smuggling. Maldonado remains in custody in Victoria until he is transferred to prison. We have new video on a major theft that took place Monday afternoon in Palacios. It happened at Porter's Ace Hardware at 710 Main Street around 3:30 p.m. Palacios police now say they have identified the women in the video. The owner of the store says the women got away with $1,800 worth of tools. He says the women were in and out within 3 minutes. The women drove away in a white SUV or van. If you can help, call the Palacios Police Department at 361-972-3112. A change of plans in the murder trial date for Fernando Acosta Jr. in the case involving the death of Amanda Johnson. March 21st will be the trial management hearing. A pre-trial hearing has not been set. The murder trial is now set to start on May 13th, but that could change. More is likely to be known after the trial management hearing. Acosta is accused in the murder of Amanda Johnson. He is charged with tampering with evidence and abuse of a corpse and murder. These 2 suspects were arrested after a state investigation into a Bay City nursing home. The Bay City Tribune reports the administrator and abuse coordinator of Colonial Living and Rehabilitation of Bay City, 37-year-old Cassidy Jones of Katy, was charged with tampering of a government record. 47-year-old Michael McLeod, a former resident of the facility, was charged with injury to the elderly or disabled and aggravated sexual assault of an elderly or disabled person. McLeod is in the Matagorda County Jail in lieu of $100,000 bond. Jones is in jail in lieu of $30,000 bond. A mother inspired her daughter to give 50 gallons of blood in Victoria. Now her grandson gives blood as well. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick spoke with the family about the joy of giving. Adarius?
The family does not like the word hero, but they've saved more than 1,000 lives by donating blood.
I think it's just part of being a member of a community is in whatever way you can enrich the community, it's your responsibility. And one of those ways for me is blood donation.
Carol Talley started donating blood on her 17th birthday. Her biggest inspiration for giving all these years was her mother.
It's what you do that people react to because they see the earnestness and the sincerity of it. You're not just a bag of wind telling them to do this. You actually pursue what you say.
Georgia was diagnosed with cancer in 1993. At the time, she could not donate, so Carol felt like she had to give even more blood.
I think I felt the need to donate even more intensely because I felt like I had to take her place.
Georgia says receiving help made her realize the importance of giving as well.
When I was diagnosed with cancer, it was the first experience that brought it home to me. But you see the benefit that the other giver is giving to you.
Since then, Carol's 50 gallons of blood have helped about 1,200 people. She's also inspired her son to join in on the life-saving effort.
It started out with my mom doing it, and then I was going for the red cord for graduation. That's what kind of helped keep me coming back.
Weston's red cord came from donating a gallon of blood during his last 2 years of high school. The family left this advice to the community.
Just donate. It really helps, and you will save a life, and you will feel good about yourself.
Carol Talley hit 50 gallons recently. Now she's working towards 75 gallons, and her son says he'll be right by her side. Don, back to you.
Darius, thank you. Evacuation orders were underway in the path of a massive wildfire burning through the Texas Panhandle. In Hutchinson County, one fire burned 200,000 acres with 0% contained as of this afternoon. A mandatory evacuation order was issued for the city of Canadian and the surrounding area. Strong winds and low humidity have fueled the fire's fast spread. The AP reports the main facility that assembles and disassembles America's nuclear arsenal shut down its operations tonight. It's 30 miles from Amarillo. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac, can you believe that latest report? My goodness.
Yes, and you know, this is not anywhere under control. That frontal system that you see up there in the Panhandle, that is the reason they're getting 58-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So it is very windy. There's fire and there's smoke all over Amarillo. It is moving south toward the Lubbock area. That frontal system will get through here about noon tomorrow and will give us a little bit of a cool down with temperatures dropping a little bit. We'll be talking about that and how cold will it get or cool will it get. We'll have all that coming up in just a few minutes. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. There's new developments in the fallout of IVF treatments in Alabama. Alabama's governor is supporting a new law that would clarify the opposite, saying frozen embryos are not considered children. This comes as the Biden administration is meeting today with families affected after some IVF providers have paused procedures in their states.
Lawmakers in Alabama now working to protect IVF services following the controversial ruling by Alabama's Supreme Court concerning frozen embryos. Alabama's Governor Kay Ivey aiming to remove the uncertainty for IVF clinics.
And I anticipate having a bill on my desk very shortly, while ensuring that the legislature has time to get this right.
The federal government also responding to the ruling from the Alabama Supreme Court saying frozen embryos are considered children. Several clinics in the state paused treatments as a result, causing uncertainty for many families.
I still have one embryo remaining after, like I said, multiple retrievals, and I don't know if my family is complete at this point. So right now I'm in very much limbo.
Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra in Alabama today, meeting with families affected by the decision.
We're trying to figure out at the federal level what we can continue to do to try to be supportive of people who want to access their health care rights.
The fallout could impact women and families across the country.
After Roe v. Wade was overturned, actually even before then, when Donald Trump promised to only appoint justices who would overturn it, I warned that red states would come for IVF. And now they have.
Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth now among Senate Democrats leading efforts to establish a statutory right to access assistive reproductive technologies, including IVF. Recently, Alabama's Attorney General stating he has no intention of prosecuting IVF families or providers. Alabama's biggest hospital, one of 3 clinics, stopping IVF and telling ABC it cannot commit to restarting treatments until the state Supreme Court reconsiders its opinion or legislation is passed. Melissa Don, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Alabama lawmakers have introduced a bill that would protect IVF after the state Supreme Court's recent ruling on frozen embryos. They ruled that frozen embryos were declared children and were entitled to all legal protections. The newly introduced bill would provide civil and criminal immunity to people providing goods and services related to IVF, except acts or omissions that are intentional and not arising from or related to IVF services. This bill focuses more on legal protections for those engaging in IVF rather than trying to define the point at which human life begins. Early voting in Victoria for the March 5th primary election continued Tuesday. The numbers from the Victoria County Election Administrator look like this. 459 people voted in person early Tuesday, 2,460 total votes so far. No mail-in votes were received Tuesday, a total of 871 mail-in votes so far. Early voting in the primary election continues through Friday. You can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. all days. You can vote at the Dr. Patty Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro. Victoria ISD announced today they are reinforcing their guidelines on electronic devices ahead of spring break. Schools across the nation are continuing to deal with cell phone usage issues in classrooms. For your viewer poll, we want to know, should schools implement stricter policies to limit smartphone usage during class time? Yes or no? Most of the day, the voting has not been close, and it still isn't. 99% of the voters saying they need to put in stricter rules against using the cell phones during school time. We thank you for voting. The number of stray dogs continues to increase within the city of Victoria. That means more animals at the Victoria Animal Care Shelter. Mark Sloat, director of the shelter, says from 2014 to the end of last year, the shelter took in over 15,000 dogs and had to euthanize over 7,700 dogs. Sloat recommends you keep your dog inside your fenced yard, inside your home, or on a proper leash.
To a dog, children playing, another dog running by, somebody on a bicycle, maybe a car, those are all distractions that can draw the dog away from your house. Plus, an animal that's not neutered or spayed, they have that drive to reproduce, and that can make them wander in their own, just because of that.
Remember, it's against the law in the city of Victoria to have your dog running loose away from your home. It's also best to have your dog spayed or neutered. Wednesday, Crestwood Drive will close between Navarro Street and Main Street from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. for paving operations. All businesses and homes in the construction zone will remain accessible. The construction is part of the Crestwood Drive Phase 3 reconstruction project. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so when you're on YouTube you can get Crossroads Today. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. Day 5 of the fatal Rust movie shooting trial took place today, and a court date is set for Alec Baldwin's trial. Also ahead, an expert explains why trees and shrubs seem to be confused in this period of warm weather. Day 5 of the trial got underway today for the armorer on the Rust movie set. Hannah Gutierrez is charged with involuntary manslaughter and tampering with evidence. Prosecutors blame Gutierrez for the live round that was fired by actor Alec Baldwin, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins and leaving the director hurt. Actor Alec Baldwin's trial date is set for July 10th. He's facing an involuntary manslaughter charge. Children who are frequently sick with the flu or common cold always seem to bounce back without a problem. But researchers found that COVID-19 may have long-term effects on children's health.
The COVID-19 pandemic caused an unprecedented impact around the world, and we are still learning about the effects of this virus. A federal report shows there are potential prolonged and widespread impacts of COVID-19 on children. A National Institutes of Health study found that children may experience health issues long after the virus. Long COVID occurs in 10 to 20% of COVID cases, affecting almost 6 million kids in the U.S. There's a wide variety of symptoms such as headache, hair loss, dizziness, stuffy nose, chest or abdominal pain, rash, and fatigue. It can also lead to an array of medical conditions like anxiety, depression, and irregular heartbeat. Most concerning is multi-inflammatory syndrome in children, or MIS-C. Affected kids can suffer fever, difficulty breathing, and chest pain. They can even develop heart complications. Doctors say a good way to protect kids from long COVID is to get them vaccinated. With this Medical Minute, I'm Perry Russum.
The FDA has announced a nationwide recall of eye ointment products. Multiple brands from Brassica Pharma Private Limited sold at Walmart and CVS may not be sterile, which could cause health problems for some people. Among the products included in this recall, Equate Lubricant Eye Ointment and CVS Health Lubricant Eye Ointment. Consumers are advised to take the ointments back to the place of purchase for a recall. For the past few days, the weather in Texas has been exceptionally warm, leaving many trees and shrubs to bloom early. But their color is a little dead. An arborist explains why the greenery in this early spring is not looking so green.
Spring is still more than 3 weeks away. But looking at some shrubs and trees around North Texas just might leave you scratching your head why some of them look dead.
Most of the trees are simply still in dormancy, which means they're not active with their leaves are green.
Arborist Kip Boyston is getting phone calls from many concerned homeowners alarmed about their greenery that's not so green. He explained why it's happening in some cases next to trees that appear to have welcomed an early spring.
The ends of the tips, the buds start to swell, and then as they mature, they'll start to leaf out. And so we're seeing some ornamentals right now because of the heat the last couple of weeks start to push out.
Boyson has been a certified arborist with Latour Tree Service for 17 years. He attributes this year's early budding to a mild winter, but says you may need to act now if your bushes and trees are impacted from North Texas roller coaster seasons over the past few years.
If you got dead shrubs, it'd probably not be a bad time to get those removed, to go through and pull those up or dig those out. If they died last year from the drought between the freeze in 21, the drought in 22, and the drought last year, we are seeing a lot of dead wood, both in trees and shrubs.
Kip shared that even this week's drastic temperature changes could mean drastic differences in your own yard.
If homeowners find themselves with mistletoe in the tree, go through and scrape it out, or go through and cut out if it's large branches, cut that out to allow the tree to recover. And again, it's just a sign of stress.
Signs of stress, he says, could change again when spring officially arrives.
It's just a wintertime in Texas.
In Arlington, I'm Scoop Jefferson.
Well, good evening, everybody. Yes, the warm temperatures are actually going to change. By tomorrow, we've got a north wind blowing in. Right now, we're at 69 degrees. Our high temperature today managed to get up only to 83 this afternoon. Now we're looking for a little bit of a cool down into the 60s. We'll have more on that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm not going to be on the camera because I'm over here at the Weather Center controlling the computer, but you see the cloud mass that's over much of Texas. Of course, the clouds are thick for us, and we've got so much humidity, we're going to have some fog by morning. But of course, the big story is not only the frontal system, the cool down, but the fires that are occurring up in the Panhandle. As Don was mentioning, we have probably 60,000 acres already burned, and more are likely. This is a big problem, folks, and the winds are blowing 40 to 50 miles an hour, so that's not helping the situation at all. Up there in Amarillo, where you see that blue, that is where the cooler air is going to be moving down, and temperatures in North Texas are going to be dropping 20-25 degrees by tomorrow. Now, here's another video courtesy of the Eagle Press. They are looking at all the smoke and the wildfires that is blowing south now because of the winds coming in. So you've got high winds, dry brush, and then a fire that is hard to control. And so it's going to be an issue for tomorrow that we watch and wait to see what happens up in Amarillo. The smoke is actually already moving south toward Lubbock. By midnight, we're probably going to start picking up some fog. We'll have fog 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m. It'll be kind of soupy when you get up and get up that early. But it's really funny how by 9 o'clock it all blows away. That's when that north wind blows down in through our area. It's going to be probably in the 20 to 30 mile an hour range for us. So windy, but not, excessively so. But it will clear up all that low level humidity and fog that we've been having. So yeah, today 82, right? Tomorrow 69, then 62, the high on Thursday. And then we roll back up into the 80s as we get to the weekend. So it's quite a bit of a roller coaster. As you asked the folks in Abilene, where they were at 98 yesterday, and tomorrow they'll be at 51. So all of North Texas is dropping about 30 degrees with this frontal system coming through. And of course, we're only going to be in the upper 60s. Here is the frontal system. It'll move through our area in the morning, and then some clouds will break up and move away. And finally, excuse me, as we get into the weekend, we actually do get some high pressure and builds us up a good looking 80-degree weekend. But then Monday, this next frontal system comes through and does get a little bit better chance of getting us some actual rain, although it will not be a huge amount of rain. There you see how the blue arrows, that's the wind coming in by tomorrow afternoon, blowing away all that low-level humidity. So let's take a look at your day planner. We're looking for Port Lavaca, cloudy, foggy in the morning, then windy by noontime and getting only up to about 70 degrees. And then for those of you in Cuero, cloudy and foggy early, and then windy by noontime, getting up to only about 65. So whereas you were probably wearing t-shirts today, tomorrow, I don't know, you might wear a long sleeve t-shirt. How about that? Here's your 7-day forecast. Windy and cooler for Wednesday and Thursday. Then Friday, we get a little chance for some light rain, nothing serious. And then it warms up just in time for the weekend, which is okay with me. Then we'll watch and wait to see what that next frontal system does. But that's not till Monday of next week. That is your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here is Zach Brown with sports.
The Titans and Warriors battling it out on the soccer pitch this evening, and we came into today 2 teams still alive on the hardwood, but only 1 team moving on. I'll have that in sports. Always fun East versus West rivalry, this time out on the soccer pitch. We found ourselves in a dogfight until the West girls struck with just over 30 minutes to go. But the East girls, well, they did have their opportunities. This play right here, one of them with about 18 minutes to go. Pretty nice build-up, but Mia Fonseca comes out and slams the door shut. West girls still holding on to a 1-goal lead. The East ladies trying everything they could, but just could not find the back of the net. Their last chance with hardly any time remaining, a collision is going to lead to a free kick, but they could not get it in. The Lady Warriors just do hang on in a very close game. For the boys, pretty good game as well. The Warriors using 2 goals in the first half and searched for that put-away goal in the second half. Nearly had it right there. You see the hands on the head. I think they thought that they should have had it as well. So the East Titans still with a fighter's chance. Close a few times, they threatened, but West just a little too good. Their dagger eventually came with about 4.5 minutes to go in the game. The West side proves to be the best side tonight. They sweep the night as the boys get the 3-0 win. Regional quarter week in boys hoops, and we only had 2 teams still alive tonight, that being Goliad and Edna, and it was the Tigers who marched into Kingsville and took down Santa Gertrudis in overtime. The Goliad Advance Guard reporting that the final score was 48-45. It was their second consecutive overtime victory. Now they wait. Who are they going to face? Will it be Poth or Marion? As I mentioned earlier, if they were to win this game, it would have been their first trip to the regional semis in about a decade. Well, they do just that. And over on the Edna Cowboys side of things, their season comes to a close. For the 3rd year in a row, the Cole Cougars put an end to Edna's season. This score 69-43, but Edna only trailed by 5 at the half. Cole just too good, and they pulled away late. The Victoria East Titans baseball team back in action after a dominant tournament over in McAllen. Will they get another win tonight over the Moody Trojans, 6-5. They had to get it done in extra innings. Ryan Steele with 2 RBIs on the night. Mason Sockwell and Grayson Youngblood each had an RBI as well. Joey Lee pitched the first 5 innings. Mr. No-hitter Braddock Raven pitched the remainder of that game, and he gets the win. The St. Joseph Lady Flyer softball team, they get the win as well, 11-1, stomping Incarnate Word Academy. What a game for Meismer. Not only did she pitch a complete game, she had 3 RBIs. They also added 2 apiece from Grimsinger and St. Jean. They move to 12-2 on the year. That is it for your sports. Don, back to you.
All right, Zach, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, tomorrow is National Floral Design Day. The Texas Tech system received 6,000 acres of nearly open space between the DFW area and Amarillo for research and learning labs. You can read the Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com. It will take a bigger wallet to see It's a Small World. Walt Disney World released its ticket prices for 2025, and the cost has gone up. Among the increases, going to Disney's Animal Kingdom will be $119 next year. Higher prices are also in store for the other parks, including the Magic Kingdom. There's also a $5 to $10 rise in many of the park hopper options, which allow visitors to go from one theme park to another on the same day. The longest sled dog race in the eastern U.S. is canceled this year because there's not enough snow coverage. The annual Can-Am Crown International Sled Dog races were set to begin this Saturday, but organizers say conditions could make the trails dangerous. The Fort Kent area has had about 2 feet below average of snow through February. Plus, a heavy rainstorm in the forecast, along with a period of unseasonably warm weather, could rapidly deteriorate the trails even further. And that's probably not a surprise to you, Mac, because just not that much snow as compared to previous years up in the north.
We've been slowly melting all of our Arctic ice. As you know, even the Iditarod, which is up in Alaska, has had years where it doesn't have had enough snow. So, and all of that is melting, and fresh water going into the oceans, changing the salinity levels. No, I could go on this thing for a while, but I won't bore you. It's too late tonight to do it. But we will do it someday. Whenever you want to discuss that, we'll sit down and chat. Anyway, folks, tomorrow morning or midday, we're going to get a cold front coming through. It is going to give us a bit of a chill. In fact, the north wind will be cool. Our high tomorrow only about 69, and then on Thursday only 62. But that's a 2-day cold snap, folks, because then we're back up to the 80-degree mark by the time we get to the weekend.
Mac, thank you. And finally tonight, Wednesday will be a beautiful day because it's National Floral Design Day. It recognizes the art, significance, and history of floral designs, which date back to ancient Egypt. It's now a multi-billion-dollar industry with floral arrangements for weddings, holidays, and other special events. You can celebrate the day by learning about floral designs. There are 8 principles. Hope you're writing these down.
Okay, go.
Balance. Contrast. Dominance. Proportion. Scale. Harmony. Unity. And rhythm.
And money.
And blues. I left that. I shouldn't have said that.
And
anyway, and blues, yeah, the blue flowers. That's what
the
I'm
blue
saying.
flowers, you need some of that too.
All right. Yes, all
you.
right. I agree. Hey, thanks for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Join Carolina Astroini and meteorologist Parker Cox for 25 News Now Sunrise, starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody, and have a great flower day.